There's a group of people that I'm very passionate about. And the reason why I'm passionate about them is because they have potential and they have what it takes to dramatically change the world. But the sad thing is that many of them who find themselves in this category may never live above potential. But that means that they will constantly be revolving and navigating the idealism and emotionalism and sensationalism of the potential, but they might never actualize these things. And it's the creative industry. Okay, and I'm very particular about my words. Now, many people do not understand that the very reason why, even though they've got ideas, they're not able to bring it to fruition is the very fact that they are creatives. And the thing about being a creative is that it conditions you perpetually into a pseudo production center. Now, that pseudo production center makes you look like you're doing something, makes it look like you're going to get the next big break, makes it look like you're the one the world has been waiting for. But it leaves you perpetually at the lowest level of the chain. Now, there is a big difference between a creative and a creator. This decade and the next age actually belongs to creators, not creatives. But there are many people who have subscribed to the ecosystem of the creative because they really don't know any better. Now, let me make you understand. A creative is someone who has got great ideas, deals with ideas, trades in ideas, and that's all they have. They're always their conversation, their vision is always in the idealistic sense. They are always ideating, and that's where they get their pump of energy from. But they don't do anything more than that. A creator, on the other end, is someone who starts with an idea, but is very, very passionate about the execution and the actualization of those ideas. And so, for everyone who called themselves creative, and one of the things you also need to understand about this clique is that they are looking for novelty, they're looking for originality. So it's not just about imitation for them, it's about creating something genuine that actually solves a certain problem. Now, here's the thing, there are many people, especially those who call themselves creatives, who don't even know the framework they use. Why? And I'm not, I get kind of surprised many times where I see people go along with certain trends or the bandwagon effect, as it were. And you need to understand something that the first thing you need to know is your image, is your identity, is your DNA, it's your vision. Now, once you have that, every other thing that now happens must be sieved through that vision. So it's not every trend you will jump on. It's not every idea you would run with the moment you have a DNA dump. Now, there are three major categories that you will see the actions of people belonging to. Now, the first one is you are either focused on engagement. So your products, your services, your ideas is gathered around getting people's opinion, getting people's time, getting people's action. It's mostly about engagement. So many of this kind of people are driven more towards community building initiatives. The second one is you're geared towards sales. And so you're trying to sell something. So what that means is that your messaging is not necessarily going to be about getting maximum engagement or getting maximum publicity. Because you want as many people as possible to have the opportunity to interact with your solutions. And these are gained from pain points, problems, challenges, that people have. Now, the other part of it, we've talked about the engagement, we've talked about the sales. The next one is impact. These are people who are driven by passion to make things better. You can see them more going towards activism, social entrepreneurship, non-governmental organizations, and things of that sort. Now, why are these things important? Because the things that would call your attention will be different. What calls your attention for someone that is focused on impact will be different from what calls your attention for someone who is focused on sales or profits, and will be different from what calls your attention for someone that is focused on engagement. Now, the thing is that a lot of people do not even know where they belong because they're not driving in vision. They're just following through what seems right, what seems good, what inspires them, and these are all sensational and emotional things. Anyone who wants to create something for the world must know where they stand, and they must stand at such a place that they own an identity in that space. And so you need to begin to think about how to drive yourself, how to position yourself, how to label yourself. And when you do that, that now lets you know who are the kind of people that are driven towards profit. The people who are driven towards profit are not the people who like your message. They are the people who have your money. And that's what many people do not realize. Now, if you're looking for engagement, it's all about the trending thing. It's all about being argumentative, being opinionated, driving conversations and information. If you are driven on impact, it's about hope. It's about the future. It's about how things can become better. Now, it does not mean that depending on who you are and what you represent, you do not see yourself colliding into some of these things. But you must understand your percentile. You must know who you are. You must know your color. Now, what I mean by color is every color, for those who do understand color and designs, every color has a formula. So there's a number, volume of red, volume of blue or yellow, as the case may be, that creates a mix to create that color. And once that mix is created, you are not meant to change it. So depending on, you can say, oh yes, I have a path that requires engagement. I also want to make some sort of profit and I want to make life better for people. However, you must know the correct mix that you have. That lets you know how much time, effort, and attention that you give to certain things. So if you are 70% in profit making, 30% in engagement, and then 1% in impact, then you know that the kind of messages, the kind of information, the kind of things you'll be attracted to online will be things that are geared towards that. And as simple as this is something a lot of people do not understand. And so in the next section, I would want to share what the science and the art of being a creator actually is. Because some people are moved by the passion. And after a while, passion wears out. That is when you actually get to know what you are made of. That is when you get to know what you represent. And you have what it takes to stick to it. More information on this in the next section. See you then.